Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today for the CRM for Oil and Gas User Group webinar. For the month of October, we're going to be covering a short training on utilizing Outlook email client with CRM. And then, as always, we're going to be tackling your questions that were submitted during registration. Just a reminder for the future, when you do register for the webinars, you can submit any CRM-related question and we will answer it. It doesn't just have to be about the topic we're discussing that month. All right, now it's time to introduce our presenter today. When you think of October, you might be thinking about playoff baseball, and today, Mr. Michael Dodds is once again stepping up to the plate for us. If you are unfamiliar with Mike, he's a certified support consultant here at LedgeView. Mike, like all of us here, are really passionate about how these tools like CRM redirect your valuable time and energy to other important areas of your busy schedules by making life easier on you. So he might even talk a little bit about the weather if we ask him nicely to kick things off. So Mike, it's all yours. Let's talk about Outlook and CRM.
Thank you, Andy, for that wonderful introduction. And yes, your daily weather report is that the skies are blue, but it's a little cold here in Wisconsin. Hope everybody had a great summer and is ready for fall. Well, we got a lot of great stuff to get into, so let's jump on in. First, we're going to tackle the Outlook client. Now, the Outlook client is an excellent tool that really allows you to, track emails. It's really able to take things from Outlook and put them into CRM without having to copy and paste emails into CRM and set up appointments in CRM and then also set it up in Outlook. It allows you to basically connect between the two. So there's some pros, but there are also some cons. So we're going to go over the pros and cons of the Outlook client and the web client. And the web client is simply when you log into Internet Explorer or Google Chrome and you log into your CRM environment. So the Outlook client pros, you can track and set regard. Set regard simply means you're associating that email or appointment to another record. So you can track or set regard emails, appointments, contacts, and activities into CRM. It's convenient because you spend most of your day in Outlook sending emails. So it's really convenient to be able to go into CRM through the Outlook client. It does have that capability. And you can also, without even going into CRM, you can see who the email is associated to. Now, this sounds like some really, really great features and abilities. However, there are some cons. A few webinars ago, we went over the navigation efficiencies that are gained with Dynamics 365, like global search, recently viewed items, the really great intuitive interface that you can quickly jump the items that you need to, the advanced finds always available for you. All those efficiencies are gone. There's lag time. You're taking what exists in a cloud, you're using a plugin to connect it to Outlook, and you're allowing access through Outlook. It makes it run a little bit slower, has clunkier navigation because it uses an older navigation style. And because it doesn't always play well with other add-ins, it can cause Outlook to crash, which can be frustrating. It also opens records in the web. So when you open a record from Outlook, when you go into the Outlook client CRM portion and you open a record, it's going to open that record without the navigation efficiency, so without global search, without the advanced finds. It's going to lose all those pieces, which is a little bit frustrating. Now, the web client, touched on this. It's easy to navigate, faster load times, it's intuitive interface. It's very efficient. CRM is all about gaining efficiencies for you as a salesperson in your day so you can do more without doing more. So you're able to accomplish more without spending any more time. That's what CRM allows you to do, and that's one of the reasons why I love this tool. Now, one of the cons of the web client is you cannot track or set regard those emails, appointments, contacts, and tasks right from Outlook because you're not in Outlook, you're in the web client. So it's best to use a hybrid version, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Now, if you're using the Outlook client, a common question is, what version should I be on? Everybody is on Dynamics 365 for oil and gas, whether you're online or on-premise currently. And there wasn't really a major update or release for the Dynamics 365, you're still considered to be on the 2016 Outlook client. That's the most up-to-date version. However, this is considered update 8, so it will be update 2.1 of version 8. So update 8.2.1 is the update you want to be on. Now, Outlook client tracking and set regarding. I'm going to jump into the system here and show you how to track and set regarding some appointments. But I want to show you kind of walk through the steps first. Now, tracking, everybody asks, what's the difference between tracking an email and setting an email to regard? Do I have to do one first? What are the proper steps? So tracking an email it's literally just taking that email as it exists and sticking it into CRM. It's not associating it to a record. It's not doing anything like that. There's no association to a specific record in CRM. That's why we always recommend using set regard, because set regard not only puts the email in CRM, it also associates it to a specific record. So to do that, you simply click on the set regarding, which is right next to the track button, and it's going to pull up this lookup record section. Then you want to set your look for to the entity of the record you want to set it for, so accounts, contacts, opportunities. Then you simply search for your record in the search box. Once you find your record, you simply check mark it and then click add. It's that easy. Now I'm going to jump into Outlook and I'm going to show you how easy this is to do for an email and for an appointment. So for an email, you simply, again, you go set regarding. It's going to open up my lookup record here, and I'm going to set this to testing 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to click add. And you can see here's the look for, here's the search box. So then I just click add. Now for an appointment, if I come over here and I do the same steps, if I click this little set regarding here, see how it's finding testing 1, 2, 3, and then Chuck Hoffman? This is just simply because these are things I've used recently, so it's giving me the ability to quickly set them. If I want to just look more, don't really want it to do account or lead, I can just do more, and then wait for a lookup record to load. And then I'm going to set my look for to contact, and then I'm going to set this to Ann Benson. So then I'm going to double click on Ann. I can either double click on her or I can check on it and then click add. Now, very, very important with appointments, you can see right here, this meeting will be tracked in Dynamics 365 after it is saved or set. So if you've already sent a meeting notice, but you didn't track it right away, like while you were setting up the meeting, and you open it back up to track it, you're going to have to hit the send button again if it's an appointment. So always keep that in mind, that it's not going to actually track until you do that. So once I hit save and close, it will track for me. Now, so it's really a good practice to, when you're sending an appointment and you're the organizer, to track while you're setting it up, or to set regard while you're setting it up. So then I hit save and close, and then it will track. And a way to tell that it's tracking is right here. This email is being tracked, or this appointment is being tracked in CRM, and then it shows you the related records and who it's regarded to. Now, some best practices for the Outlook client. If you're utilizing the Outlook client, use it as a hybrid with the web client. That's kind of what we started to touch on earlier. The web client has so many efficiencies that you want to take advantage of. So anything that you're doing CRM-wise, which means, you know, entering records, using dashboards, running reports, qualifying leads, updating your opportunities, looking at your order history, anything like that, you really want to make sure that you're doing in the web client. Anything that revolves around, you know, appointments or emails, and then taking those and pushing them up into CRM, that's usually what you want to use the Outlook client for. You can also take activities and contacts that exist in Outlook and then push them up into CRM as well. There are capabilities to do that as well. This next best practice more revolves around sending emails from CRM. If you're sending over 100 emails at one time, this is either through like marketing or workflow or anything like that, anything that's going to be sending a large number of emails at one time, you really want to utilize server-side sync or email router to process these outgoing emails. Reason for that is just simply because if you're using the Outlook client to process those, it takes a little bit more time, and it can get hung up with the Outlook client. It doesn't have as good of a process to go through. So to get the best results, you want to set it to server-side sync or email router. Now, you can set minimum sync times. Now, when I say you, I mean the admin can set minimum sync times for the entire organization. We highly recommend that to be 15 minutes. You can go as low as 5 minutes, but we don't recommend it just because it can put extra strain, because then you're syncing many more times throughout the day. Now, as a user, you want to set that to the lowest available time, and that will show, like if your admin sets it at 15 minutes, it will show the minimum time between syncs is 15 minutes. You can set that right in your personal options. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into Outlook, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So we go File, Dynamics 365, Synchronize, Options. And then within Options, that's when we're going to want to click on Synchronization. And down here, every so many minutes, and then it will tell you your minimum right here. So my admin for my test org decided to set it at 5 minutes. Again, you want to make sure you're setting this as an admin for the oil and gas, which is us, set it at 15 minutes. So that's what we want to make sure that we recommend. And then my last best practices for the Outlook client, utilize set regarding instead of track. We touched on it earlier, but if there's ever an associated record, which 99% of the time if you're sending an email or getting an email, it's regarding a specific record that's in CRM, whether it's a lead, a contact, an account, etc. So I always recommend doing set regarding. Now, there are some items that with the Outlook client require troubleshooting. We've talked to many of you over the years that you've had CRM and the Outlook client specifically, but here's some items that you want to keep an eye out for that will give you a heads up that it will need some troubleshooting from us. If Outlook is crashing when opening, this can be as simple as there's just too many add-ins being used, and we would just work with you to understand which ones are necessary and which ones aren't, and we would turn off the unnecessary. You're going to get better performance. Sometimes there can be underlying issues with these, but that's usually what we see this as. Your track and set regarding buttons are grayed out. This is usually also a pretty quick fix. We clear your cache and we reconfigure your Outlook client. Again, any of these can have an underlying issue which will cause a little bit of a deeper dive in troubleshooting, but this is what we tend to see. When you're accessing CRM, so if you choose to not use the hybrid option, and you decide to utilize the CRM portion within the Outlook client, and when you're connecting to, it says trying to connect to CRM when you bring up the CRM portion, this is a sign that you're having an issue with your configuration. It could be simply as you're not connected. You could not be connected to the internet, and that could be a portion of it as well. But we usually see this as track and set regard or grayed out, and this is happening. That tends to mean something with cache or configuration issues. Any error messages that you see, always make sure that your email is associated to your user. So that user in CRM has an email address associated to it. That needs to match the email address of the Outlook that you're using on your desktop. Now, there are many messages that state that are basically saying, hey, your email address for CRM is different than the one you're using. They have to be the same. So that can help to clear out some of those errors. So that's something that you, on your end, can check very quickly without needing to contact us here at support. We are always happy to help, but this might be one that you can also check real quickly as well, just simply looking at your user record to make sure your email address is the same. In the lower right corner of Outlook, it states if it ever states online with Microsoft Exchange, and that's a sign that there could be a reason for some issues that you're experiencing. You usually want it to say connected with Microsoft Exchange. And then at the bottom ribbon where it either says mail and calendar or has the mail icon and the calendar icon, there's usually a CRM icon or it lists your CRM name. If this isn't showing, that's usually a sign that there's an issue that needs to be troubleshooted. It could mean that it's simply in the overflow menu, which is those three dots, and it just got moved in the navigation. But usually it means there's a piece that needs to be troubleshooted further. That's all for the Outlook client. Next, we're going to jump into the Outlook app. Now, previously, I've mentioned the Outlook app and how it's brand new, just coming onto the scenes. Well, it's gaining some traction, and a lot of people are starting to like the Outlook app. So I wanted to take some time to go over some of the benefits of it, and the features of the app versus the Outlook client. Now, the app itself, it works on OWA, which is considered your online web application. So, Office 365 email. It works on that. It works on phones, and it works on Macs as well. The Outlook client does not. It only works on the Outlook desktop version. So with this, you can track and set regard emails for both. As we mentioned with the Outlook client, you could also do this with the app. Now, composing is when you're sending an email. You cannot track compose emails if you're on a Mac or the mobile Outlook app. You can't do anything on the Outlook app or a Mac. It won't even work for the Outlook client for anything. You can track and set regard appointments for both. However, if you're on the Mac, mobile Outlook on the web, or the mobile Outlook app, they haven't quite set that feature up for the app for Outlook yet. And then you can track and set regard appointments, or not appointments, contacts. This only works if you're on the Outlook 2016 version. So, and there's a specific version that I'll mention on the next screen, but they put the little plugin to access contacts with the app. So it only works on your desktop version, and it only works if you're on 2016. Now, track and set regarding activity tasks, which is essentially activities, is not something that can be done yet. The reason why it's called tasks is because Outlook only understands tasks. Your activities like phone calls are transitioned to tasks when they're pulled down from CRM. So the Outlook app does not quite have the ability to track activities or tasks at this point, where the Outlook client can. One-click set regarding, as we kind of showed you with the Outlook client, it takes a couple steps to set regard to an email. With the app, it's one click. It shows you a recipient. You can quickly set regard right to that recipient. So that's a really nice feature. Shows the recipient summary, gives you basically basic information about them based on what's in your CRM. You can show the regarding record summary, a summary of what you've regarded. So when you set regard, it gives you a little summary of that record as well for emails and appointments. It works with the Outlook desktop, both of them do. So the last couple that I said, the one-click set regarding the recipient summary and the little summary regarding the record that you're regarding the email or appointment to, those don't work in the Outlook client. That's only an app feature. Opening and creating Microsoft Dynamics 365 records directly, you can do that in both the app and the client. Both get to apply custom forms and business logic. Working offline only works on the client. However, we really don't recommend working offline because it comes with its own set of issues. You can apply email templates, sales literature, and what's called knowledge articles right onto an email that you're composing. This can happen in the app and the Outlook client. Now for the app, if you're using the mobile Outlook on the web, it cannot do these at this time. It has the ability to monitor emails after sending. There's a couple of custom setups that would need to occur that would require further discussion regarding the oil and gas product, but this is definitely a feature of it. You can sort, filter, format, group, and categorize views of the Outlook client, but you cannot do that for the app. Creating Word mail merge documents that only exist in the client cannot be done in the app, and controlling field synchronization only works in the client, not in the app. Some requirements for the Outlook app is, this is basically a visual breakdown of the different versions that are out there that you can use the app for. So 2016 desktop, 2013 desktop, Macs, Outlook on the web, mobile Outlook on the web, and the mobile Outlook app. So this is basically just saying, here's what it can do. You can track emails that are received in every single one. Composing emails, you can't do that for the Mac. or the mobile Outlook app. And then for mobile Outlook on the web, there's a small caveat to that as well that we mentioned on the previous page. And then composing emails basically with the Dynamics 365 online with Exchange Server and on-premise with these Exchange servers. Tracking composed emails requires a specific Exchange server, cumulative update 14 for 2013 or Exchange Server 2016. I'm not going to go into all the minutiae and details of this, but just understand that there are certain caveats of limitations based on your server configuration and the different medium that you're using to access the Outlook app. So Outlook app requirements, it has to utilize server-side sync to process your incoming emails. We recommend processing those incoming, outgoing, and appointments, contacts, and tasks with all your email configuration. We recommend doing everything through server-side sync. Now you have to be on Dynamics CRM 2016 update or newer if you're online, which again, all of you are. Now for on-premise, we are seeing that the newest patch for Dynamics 365, which is coming out in the next 6 months, that's what you'll need to be on in order to access the Outlook app. You also must be on the Outlook 2013 or 2016. If you're on 2010 for Outlook, it's not going to work. You're using an on-premise Exchange server. It must be 2013 Exchange server. This specific version, which is essentially 2013, that cumulative update 14 or greater, or simply on Exchange 2016. Now, you can only utilize server-side sync with Exchange on-premise. So if you're doing the hybrid, if you're, Exchange on-premise and you want to use server-side sync, really only works with Dynamics 365 online or on-prem. Again, all of you are at that point right now. So if you're Dynamics 365 with an on-premise Exchange server, we definitely recommend that we set up a meeting to talk with our systems engineer in your IT department. And then also note that there are potentially some security setting adjustments that will need to be made. Nothing that's going to drastically change or give people additional access. There's just items that might need to be changed in order to give access to be able to run the Outlook app. Next, we're going to jump into some user-submitted questions. Our first question from a user is, can you review activities and opportunities? What are the best practices that you see for creating activities? Great question. I'm going to jump in and do a demo on how you set activities from an opportunity and a really easy way to do this. But I want to touch on the best practices piece first. So I recommend setting up activities for items that you know you're going to need to accomplish for that opportunity right away at the beginning. That way the due dates are set, and you can basically give yourself reminders to the Outlook client of these tasks being due. It's a really great feature. Create tasks for items that you're going to be working on, like creating a quote, following up on the quote. Create tasks for those things. That way they're available for you and you have due dates. Phone call activities. If the customer says, hey, follow up with me in a week regarding this, set that phone call activity instead of due date. Email and phone call tasks to follow up with customer, a few days or weeks after you close an opportunity is a really great idea. Just saying, hey, thank you for your business. Really appreciate it. Hope everything's going well. You can set yourself a task to remember to send them an email or set a phone call activity with a due date. Now let's jump into CRM and I'll show you how easy it is to set an activity for an opportunity. Now if I go to sales and then I go to opportunities, I'm just going to open up one of my opportunities. And then we're going to scroll down, and on the right hand of the side, there's going to be a subgrid that's going to allow me to create a new activity for my opportunity. So we'll just wait for this to finish loading, and then I'll scroll down. So if I scroll down here, right here, open activities, and I just click the plus sign, and I create all these different types of activities. So if I want to do a phone call, let's say I just had the phone call. I can basically say the subject line of what we talked about. I can put down who I talked to, and then I can write down exactly what we talked about, and then it's regarding this opportunity right here. Now let's say I was talking to the customer and they say, hey, follow up with me in a week. Perfect. I hit complete and follow up. So what this will do is it will close down this activity, and then it's going to create this new activity for me. And you can see it's due a week from today. Pull in the subject line. It's going to pull in the description as well, and then who the call was to. So a really great feature. So then I just hit save and close. And then this activity stayed up, so then I'm just going to click close as well. And then you can see the open activities are right here. Our last question is, how do you suggest we handle uploads to Empower regarding opportunities in fallback? Have Chevron and LedView discussed this new feature? Excellent question. LedView and Chevron, we have discussed this, and this is currently being addressed in the nightly integration with Empower. So we're simply adding the word fallback to the end of the sales stage when it's in fallback. So for example, if there's an opportunity that's in sales stage 3, which is presentation, but not in fallback, Chevron's going to see stage 3-presentation. Now it's going to look the exact same if it's in fallback, except we're going to add -fallback to the end of it. We have an upcoming webinar on Tuesday, January 16th. It's our next oil and gas user group. I really hope you attend. It's going to be on advanced finds. So it's going to have some really great features. On behalf of myself, Andy, and all of us at LedView, we can actually say goodbye to summer on this one. I thank you for your time, and I thank you for always attending these. I hope you have a wonderful day and enjoy the fall.